Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Could we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for one nation, under God, indivisible, for all. Okay. For information purposes only, I want to announce that Sarah Roy, the chairperson of the Viking Ped Committee, is resigned as of October 20th. Bird Gardens Advisory Committee, Jennifer Downing, she also resigned November 1st. And Jennifer Kennedy resigned from the Bird Gardens Committee as well, November 1st. And the Human Services Commission, Lori MacArthur, resigned on September 29th. I just want to share that information and thank each and every one of them for their service to our community and thank them for their time and efforts.
Tom, may I say something? So I also would like to thank them, and personally, Sarah Roy and I have spent a lot of time on the phone and working together, so she definitely will be missed. But I do thank them all for their service and wish them all well on their next endeavors. All of the people resigning today.
I echo that sentiment and thank everybody.
Can I get a motion? We do have 2 police commission appointments on the agenda, and I would like to move those up if I could, because they do have a 4:30 police commission meeting. Can I get a motion to move up item number E?
So moved. I'll move to.
So moved. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I am going to ask for a motion to reappoint Peter Ambrose of 830 Burr Street to term from 11/22 to 11/27, and Charlene Lebo, who will continue to serve from 2022 to 2027. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Okay. I believe Peter, according to what I'm seeing here, yes, Peter, are you there?
I am, yes.
He's here, and so is Charlene.
Peter, and I believe Charlene as well?
Yes, she's here.
Yep.
Okay, very good. I just want to, say that I appreciate both Charlene and Peter's service to our community through the police commission. As you know, some towns do have police commissions, some do not, and our police commission does do a lot of work. They work directly with our police department. They handle a lot of important issues, but they also share. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
They also deal with traffic issues, which come across my desk quite often. People are talking about speeding, people not obeying traffic laws and the like, and signage and all of that. So it does take a lot of time and effort to review those things. They work directly with our engineering department. They spend a lot of time trying to improve our community in a whole host of ways. So I do want to thank them both for wanting to serve again. And I appreciate them coming. I want to apologize for not being down there with you. I woke up very sick this morning, and I went and had a COVID test, and I do not want to infect anyone until I get my results back. So I apologize for not being in the room with everyone. I will open it up to the board.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank Peter and Charlene for signing back up to do this. I've had the pleasure to know both of them personally as well, and in their governmental capacities. And the town of Fairfield is very lucky to have both of them and people like them that are willing to serve on these important commissions. So I wholeheartedly support both of their reappointments to the position, and I thank them. My apologies as well for not being there in person with the change in timing and day of the meeting. I'm out of town on business now as of actually 6 a.m. this morning. So my apologies for having to do this by video. But, and congratulations to both of you, and thank you again for your willingness to serve.
And I'm glad to be here with the change. I was supposed to be in New York, but those meetings were canceled, so I'm thrilled to be able to be here in person. And to say that Attorney Ambrose and I first met when we were both running and subsequently serving on the RTM, and it was a great pleasure to work collaboratively with you, Mr. Ambrose, and to get to know you. We had a great day at the polls. I do remember that. We got to know each other and the other candidates.
I got my chicken soup, though.
I know, I owe you some chicken soup, it's true. It was a cold and rainy day. And also with Charlene Lebo, we've had a chance to get to know each other through our work in town politics. And then specifically when I sat in on some of the Racial Equity and Justice Task Force meetings specific to the hiring of Chief Calamares, which was incredible and lucky for the town of Fairfield. So I'm just thrilled to be able to support this reappointment and wish you both well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hope you feel better.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Do you either, Charlene or Peter, do you want to say anything?
I think at the mic. There.
It's been a pleasure to serve on the, I'm sorry? It's been a pleasure to serve on the commission. One of the other things we do, which is very time-consuming, but it's a wonderful thing, is that we get to review candidates for the commission, and we're blessed with the candidates we've recently hired over the last 2 years, and I can project that we're getting better and better candidates with higher degrees, and it's a pleasure. It's just a pleasure doing the work that we do. Charlene?
I not only want to echo what Peter had just said, the police department right now is a very critical department, and we are just so honored to have the great leadership of Chief Calamares. And I feel like, we have a communication with the community, and we have great leadership. I'm honored to serve on this commission. And thank you to all three select people for supporting us.
Well, thank you both. And I echo the comments. I think did an awesome job choosing Chief Calamares.
We're off to the meeting.
Thank you. If there's no further comment from the board, is there any comment from the public? Seeing none. Bring it back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks for coming on, Chief. Okay, we're going to go back to our regular schedule here. Item number 4 is an appointments to the Bike and Ped Committee. Mary Tomey of Beaumont Street. Mary, I think I see you there. It says on my note that you weren't going to be able to come, so I'm glad that you were able to. It's nice to see you. Mary, this is, she was on, and now she's, you're for a full commission now, for a full appointment. Yes, and Mary, I've gotten to know Mary even before she came on the Bike and Ped Committee. We have a shared love for animals and rescues especially. And so Mary's been a really helpful member on the committee, and I know she's been enjoying it. We've been enjoying having her on it. Also, we have Jose Orami. Is that correct?
That is correct, Jose Oromi.
Oromi, who you're here too. That's great. And you will serve till 11/26. And we have, so these are for the 2 biking committee members. We'll do the bike committees. Is there any comments from the board?
Do we have a motion on the table?
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if we have a motion on the table.
Oh, motion to approve.
Yes, for the
Second.
record, it's for reappointments. I think you said appointments, so I just want to say, for the record, the motion is for reappointment to the Bike and Ped Committee.
Correct. Do you have any comments?
No, I'm
Anyone?
enjoying
Yep.
being part of the committee for the past few months, and I look forward to staying on and learning all I can do and helping out who I can.
Excuse me, you need to use the microphone so everybody can hear you.
I heard her just fine.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. No, it's a pleasure. I'm enjoying the committee, and I look forward to helping and being a part of the community and looking at everything in detail and seeing what we could do to help the biking and pedestrians in the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Jose, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, likewise, very excited about the committee. As has been mentioned in the past, part of my passion is to ensure the safety of students walking to and from school, but as well as a cyclist and a town resident, I think the work of the committee is rather important to help inform decisions. So very honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, Jose. Appreciate that. Yeah, they do work directly. We've had some good meetings over the past year. Mary's been in where we had a really productive meeting with our engineering department, our police department, DPW director, and a lot of good comments and conversations about improving safety throughout the town. So we look forward to having you, sir. Thanks so much.
And just
Is there anybody on the board who would like to comment?
Yeah, just to echo for the reasons that you just referred to, Jose, Mr. Aromi, because it's such an important, I have kids that walk around and drive around and bike around, so I personally appreciate it, but I know the community does. So it's always a good sign when people want to re-up, so thank you. Thank you.
I'll echo what Nancy said. I'll also say, since I walk around, I'm very appreciative as to what you guys do and how important safety is. So thanks for your commitment to serve, truly. And best of luck.
If there's no further comment from the board, is there any comment from the public? Seeing none?
Mr. Hurley is stepping up to the microphone.
Oh, okay, sure.
Mr. Hurley doesn't walk around.
I'll make it quick. Just for those who don't know, the Bike and Ped Committee.
You just turned it up. You also push it once.
Oh, just push it while you, the other one, or then you have to hold down.
So turn it on.
Okay, sorry about that, different microphones. Real quick, the Bike and Ped Committee is essential with their assistance in helping the town get many grants that we've been able to get, several millions dollars worth of grants. So I always applaud the efforts of the Bike and Ped Committee. So thank you and good luck.
You love grants. All right, well, if there's no further comment, I'll bring it back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tom?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you both very much for coming today.
Thank you all.
Our next reappointments are Robert Schwarzik is the chair. I don't know if Robert's in the room. I knew Monday he couldn't attend. I'm not sure. And Siri, how do I pronounce your first name? I'm sorry.
Me, Pierre.
Pierre. Sorry. Pierre, and you're so we have Robert for the Burr Gardens, and we have Pierre for the Greater Bridgeport Transit Authority. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve these.
So moved.
Items B and C.
So moved.
And I'll second it. And for discussion, or for moving forward, should we take them all as one, but talk them through individually, just in the interest of time? Does that?
Sure. So we'll just finish these and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So I'll open it up to the board for any questions.
I'll just say what I'm going to say to everyone here, which is thank you for signing up again. it obviously means you've enjoyed the work or still have work yet left to do that you feel good about. So thank you for that. I know it's a great commitment of time and effort and energy, so appreciative.
That or you're gluttons for punishment. No,
Or both.
I would like to thank you as well for your commitment to continue to serve. Much appreciated.
Pierre, did you want to make any comment?
Sure. Thank you very much for this honor. It's been an honor to serve this past year. I'm looking forward to another productive year. And I have to say, all my fellow board members have been extremely welcoming. It's a very collegiate atmosphere. And we work together to tackle all the challenges that the system has, including modernizing, recovering from the pandemic. We're now reaching ridership levels that are exceeding pre-pandemic levels, which is great. And we also have concerns like moving towards electrification and everything that goes with that. We got a lot of federal funds coming in, so we're trying to allocate those in the most efficacious way possible. But yes, thank you again for this great opportunity, and look forward to another productive year. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I don't think Robert is in the room, but Robert served now for quite some time, and he's very passionate about the Bird Gardens, and we do meet quite a bit, have conversations a lot. Is there any additional comment from the board?
I'd just like to thank him for serving, and if I'm not mistaken, there's been a lot of work recently on the Bird Gardens, as I saw. Aren't they rebuilding the pond over there and things of that sort?
Yeah, that was from the ARPA money.
Yeah, very good. So thank you for that.
And I have a soft spot in my heart. I was just saying, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Bird Gardens because my kids were there, so it's a great thing for the community and the specific community of Burr.
Yeah, it's very, very pretty. Okay, so if there's no further comment, all in favor of these two appointments?
Aye.
Aye. Tom?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. So I'm going to take the others. We did skip the police commission up, so I'm going to ask for a motion to approve Rosina Negron for the historic commission. And I am going to ask, I'm going to add also item number G, which is Cynthia Wakeman for the Shellfish Commission, Misty Byer for Solid Waste and Recycling. Let's see.
Also F.
Tim Besler for the Solid Waste and Recycling. Kristen Tulla for the Solid Waste, and also Ron Drew, who I did see on the screen.
And also F. Sorry, you skipped F. Police and Fire Retirement Board.
Oh, I'm sorry. There we go.
Alamo.
Thomas Callamore for the Police and Retirement Board. And I think that's all.
I'll move for items D, F, G, H, and I.
Seconded.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. Is there any comments from the board?
Just echoing the thanks again to all who are willing to step in again.
I agree. I appreciate that you're signing up for either full terms or second or third terms on these boards. It means a lot. So thank you.
Are there any of the individuals who I named in the room or on the WebEx that would like to make any comments?
Yeah.
Hi, Brenda. Tom Palmer on the phone. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to serve, and I look forward to serving again.
Well, thank you, Tom, for stepping up to serve.
And this is Kirsten Nitel. I just echo the same gratitude that everyone's been expressing, that I am happy to serve and thankful for this opportunity to be able to go to a full term.
Thank you very much.
Brenda, this is Ron from the WBCA.
Hi, Ron.
I look back on my notes. The first time I served on WBCA was when Play-Doh was signed.
Wow.
So about 20 years now, on and off with WBCA. I enjoy the heck out of it.
Oh, well, thank you. That's, it's actually, you've got a lot of big stuff been coming down the pike, so.
I looked at my notes back about 20 years ago, and the development in Fairfield is astonishing compared to what it was back then.
I know, it's incredible.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot, it really is. We got a good crew.
We're getting a lot of feedback. I really can't hear.
But what was loud and clear is that this is a great group. What is,
That's all.
Thank you, Ron.
what was,
Thank you.
what was loud and clear is that the WPCA is a great group, and I just want to double down on that sentiment, because this is a great group of people. Not because I also serve on that board.
You know, someday somebody's going to step forward and say, this board is horrible, and I feel I have to stay there just to help it out.
Well, I'm Tim Besler, and I've enjoyed serving on the Solid Waste and Recycling Commission, especially our subcommittee, who have been working to improve the awareness, the public awareness of what is and is not appropriate for recycling, something that I had to learn myself. And I'm looking forward to continuing that, and I've been very impressed with the department and the great improvements they've done at the transfer station. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
That whole thing's been a challenge since the changes in recycling and what the town's gone through the last number of years and the expense that's happened in the recycling. So thank you for serving.
And Rosina Negron, I appreciate being able to serve on the board and being a steward of the preservation of the fabric in Fairfield. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other appointees that would like to make a comment? Seeing none.
I would like to, if that's okay.
Sure, go right ahead.
This is Cynthia Wakeman regarding the Shellfish Commission. I just wanted to say thank you again. I've had a lot of fun serving on the Shellfish Commission, and I look forward to continuing that.
Well, Cynthia, I got to take advantage and spend time with you clamming for the clam clinic this last spring, and that was, I have to say, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it. It was my first time, and the Shellfish Commission was super awesome. I would recommend anybody who hasn't tried this yet to definitely attend the next Shellfish Commission clam clinic. They are super professional, really helpful. It's such a fun thing to do, to just be out in the water, you know, and they give you the rakes and everything, and you get to bring home fresh clams that you can steam or bake or whatever. It was a great fun, and I appreciate the Shellfish Commission's efforts. Obviously, for the environment, I have to say that's a best kept secret, I think, in town, where people should take advantage of it. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? All right, seeing none. Is there any comments from the public on these appointees? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Our next item is item number 5. This is an appointment to the Human Services Commission. And can I get a motion to approve Gwen Palmer of Chelsea Street to serve the remaining term of Roy McCarthy, who resigned, until, can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Bless you.
And I believe Gwen is in the audience. I think I see you, Gwen.
Hi.
Hi, Gwen. And I believe her son, Joe, came to support his mom, which I think is incredibly sweet. And I really appreciate Gwen stepping up. I've known Gwen for some time, and she's just a completely lovely person and is very engaged and active in our community. And I know you're going to be a real asset to the commission. So I just really want to thank you for stepping up to serve in this role.
Thank you, Brenda. I would love to just say hi. We've never met, so if we could, I would just love to hear a little bit from you about what you're excited about and why you're interested in serving. And
Well, I am excited about serving and being part of the community. And Laura actually got me involved. And I needed something, and I thought this is perfect. And I think that I'm really going to enjoy this, being part of this commission, and just going to the first meeting. So I thank you for that.
Thanks.
I look forward to it.
How are you a Fairfield lifer?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I grew up here. I grew up in Oakfield Drive.
Wow.
Yeah. And left for maybe a year, living in an apartment when we got married in Bridgeport. And it's the best community. I always feel privileged living here. And then I could raise my boys here. I just felt very fortunate that I could do that.
That's nice.
And this is one of my boys. And Brenda, I hope you feel better. And Tom, I know you from the past too, coming to the meetings.
Is this your first foray into any board or commission? Have you served previously?
It is, yeah. I've done other things, but this is going to be unique. I look forward to it.
Thanks for stepping up.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to wish you the best of luck and enjoy it. Have a good time and best of luck, and thank you for stepping up. That's right.
And it's nice to have, someone who hasn't served yet on a board and commission, and she's got the endorsement of the chair, so what's better than that?
There you go.
Can I say
something?
Can I say something on her behalf?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, go right ahead.
I am Laura Inserto, and I'm the chair of the Human Services Commission, and I personally have enjoyed being the chair and recognizing that commissions have to have a very broad base of service. And we particularly focus on the senior center. And up until this year, we were focused on disabilities, people with disabilities in our community, and it's since spun off into their own commission. But the reason that I approached Gwen is because I think that she's an extremely thoughtful person and has the experience that I think we need to bring to the commission from the standpoint of growing up here in Fairfield, from really having a caring heart about the seniors in our community, about keeping seniors here in Fairfield, which is a huge issue, particularly because taxes impact you, energy costs impact you, and I think when you get somebody that is in that age range, it helps to bring perspective. So she's a good friend. Joe has been a friend of mine through government activity over the years, so I'm thrilled that Gwen was able to give the time, and I know she's going to be a wonderful addition. So thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Is there any additional comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
I just want to thank
All in favor?
I just wanted to thank I just wanted to thank Laura Inserto for those comments. That was very helpful, and I agree and appreciate that the perspective, you bring a unique one, so that's nice. So I have no further comments.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Jen. Thanks again.
Feel better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Thank you, Jen.
I just want to recognize just a couple information items. These are for selectwoman appointments, reappointments. I reappointed Dabney Bowen, who serves on the Conservation Commission, Peter Hood to reappointment, and also Steve Rosado, who on the Economic Development Commission, and Jack Mahoney for the Employee Retirement Board. That one requires RTM and also John Matteo to the Fairfield Housing Authority. John Matteo used to be the chairman of the Board of Education, and he has been on the Fairfield Housing Authority for some time. And Richard Fitzgerald to the Parking Authority, and these are all these terms are effective November 28th, and they're for information purposes only. If anybody is there who I named or online would like to make any comments, happy to entertain them.
Hi, this is Dabney Bowen, and I just wanted to mention that for the first time in the 21 years that I've lived in Fairfield, we have a very knowledgeable, robust, active, and interested Conservation Commission, in my opinion. And part of that is thanks to our hiring with, of course, Brenda's blessing of a new conservation director who is fantastic. Seriously, really. It's just been amazing. And we have a wonderful commission of people that bring to the table lots of different skills and backgrounds. It's not just a table full of lawyers, although we do have some, which is good. And I'm just privileged to serve a second term. This is my life's work. As you know, Brenda, my heart is in this 100%, and I'm just honored to be able to serve again.
This is Peter Hood. Likewise, yeah, it is. It's on. Likewise, I'll be brief and say it's my pleasure and honor to be on this commission. I'll just echo what Dabney said, and especially as well about the new director. He's very pleasant to deal with, very easy. The information flow in the department is wonderful. So I'm having a good time. And I think when you can volunteer and have a good time and do something that's interesting, it's just really great. I was welcomed into that commission from the moment I sat down, and it was a really easy transition. And I'm comfortable and happy and look forward to staying on for a while. Thanks.
How you doing? Steve Rosado with the Economic Development Commission, and I've been in town for 30 plus years, raised 2 kids here. More than anything, I just want to compliment Mark Barnhart, who is the director. He does just phenomenal work for this town, and the amount of grants and the amount of knowledge he brings to every meeting. He's always so well prepared. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm just grateful to be in the town of Fairfield, and anything I can give back, I owe that and then some more. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Mark Barnhart is great.
Good afternoon, Brenda. Good to see you again. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. John Matteo for the Public Housing Authority. Very proud of the work that the Housing Authority does. We serve 90 lower-income households in our community in the physical facilities that we own. And we're also able to provide Section 8 certificates for another 90 households who are able to stay in Fairfield because we can provide a rental assistance for them. So I thank you again for this opportunity, Brenda. Selectmen, nice to meet you and see you, but thank you very much.
Thank you. John and I go way back. John was the chairman of the Board of Education when I first cut my teeth in politics and wanted 2 high schools, and we butt heads pretty good for a long time. But you know what? That's how it used to work. And at the end of the day, we shook hands and we worked together on other things. And that was the good old days, right, John?
It was, but you still look younger than I do. I don't know how you did that, but God bless you.
Well, we did some good stuff, and I really appreciate your hard work on the Housing Authority. Obviously, sometimes this can be a bit contentious with our community about 8-30G and all of this, but there is a real need for affordable housing, and Housing Authority does supply Section 8 vouchers and rental assistance and so many other things that are really so needed. And as we were just talking about for seniors. And I just want to comment on Peter I'm sorry, Steve's efforts. I appreciate your work. You know, I've bolstered having our economic development department be much more robust, our commission trying to get more things moving in town, because obviously the more economic development we have, it takes a burden off our taxpayers. And so I do appreciate your service, and you're absolutely right. Mark Barnhart is an invaluable treasure to our town. I work closely with him on so many things. He's really very valuable and important. And Dabney and Peter, I really appreciate your comments about our new director. I think he's fabulous as well. I appreciate your hard work in investing, Dabney especially, on the committee to locate him. I know you put a lot of hours in. The average everyday citizen does not realize that you and others on the committee formed a small committee and really spent a lot of time reviewing all the applications that came in through the company we used to try to find the best candidates. And I know that you did so much hard work and due diligence, and it really resulted in an absolutely fabulous pick for the department. He's really wonderful, and he's doing a great job. And I appreciate the work that you're all doing. You are very engaged and active and thoughtful. So thank you both really for your service. And I'm so glad to hear you're happy and enjoying it. It's nice people should enjoy public service. It should be a pleasurable experience as opposed to not a pleasurable experience. I will open it up to the board. Do you have any comments?
Just thank you all.
Just like to echo thanks for your service. Very important boards you're joining or rejoining, and best of luck to you. And thanks so much.
What he said, exactly.
Nancy, do you have anything?
Just that, just exactly what Tom just said. Just thank you and continued good luck, and thank you. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yes.
I said it. You may have missed it, but I spread the love.
Oh, I apologize. Okay. All right. Well, is there any comments from the public on any of the appointments? Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor?
These are just information only. It's your appointments. Just
they
FYI.
are.
Yep.
They are. I'm sorry. I am not feeling so good.
Cold medicine.
So my head's a little cloudy. Thank you for keeping me on track. Okay. What do we have next? Thank you all for being here today. Really do appreciate it. And obviously your service to the community.
She would tell you don't have to
Have a good night.
Bye.
So I know I'm always very I always tell everyone who's here for an item, if your item is finished, you're welcome to stay, but you're free to leave. Our next item, item number 7. We have 2 WPCA items, but we're splitting them up. Can I get a motion to hear and consider and adopt a bond resolution entitled Resolution Appropriating $6,250,000 for costs associated with the inspection construction phase of the East Trunk Wetlands Crossing Project, authorizing a grant to reimburse $750,000 of such appropriation, and authorizing the issuance of bonds in the amount not to exceed $2 million to finance a portion of such appropriation.
So moved.
Can I get a motion?
Seconded.
And I promise to waive the reading for the second. To move to waive.
I'm going to open it up to John Bodie and Bill Hurley.
I'm here on the phone. I'm here on the phone. My apologies.
I'm sorry.
I'm here on the phone if you can hear me.
I'm sorry, who's that?
That was John.
This is John Bodie.
Okay,
I'm on the
John.
phone.
Very good. So who wants to go first? Bill, John?
John, you want?
I can tell you, I can repeat what Brenda just said. This is just the funding for the construction and construction oversight of the East Trunk Wetlands Crossing, which will replace a 33-inch pipe and better serve the town and the new Metro Center. Our engineering department has been working very hard to get this to a final cost, which I think we have. We have the funding in place. And we just want to move forward and get this one behind us.
Very good. Bill, do you have anything?
I was just going to highlight some of the 14 points, but rather quickly. Just a reminder that this sewer main carries about 2/3 of the town sewer flows that go to the treatment plant. The new 36-inch line will expand the capacity for the Metro Center development. It would reduce I&I, which is inflow and infiltration, reduce sanitary sewer system overflows, and increase capacity, as John mentioned, for future development. The request consists of the construction of the sewer, design services during construction. There are specialized inspections that are involved, environmental inspections, and daily inspection, as the project will last 13 to 16 months. We use the 16th month as the worst-case scenario in this request. The projects are broken down where the town share, it's going to be a $6.25 million project that includes a contingency. The town share is anticipated to be $5.5 million. Broken down, $3.5 million will come from the WPCA fund balance, and $2 million will be bonded by capital improvements. And Jared and the bonding council is here for any questions on that. And then the town will be utilizing a $750,000 grant that was part of another project, but this one is ahead of the other East Trunk Sewer project, so we're going to use the grant for this one instead. They were both applicable for the projects coming up. And then just to give you the commission, the Board of Selectmen, a heads up that we are continuing to work with WPCA Engineering and Finance to come together with a master plan that we'll be presenting to the boards in the future. It will involve pump stations, East Trunk Sewer Line, and other infrastructure projects. So. But going back to this one, I'm here, Mega is here, and John's on the phone, and Jared and the council is on the line as well for any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Were you speaking of both items?
Were you speaking both items?
7 and 8?
Probably, again, sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to clarify that for the board.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it up. I know Nancy serves as a member of the Board of Selectmen on the WPCA. Nancy, do you want to share anything with the board?
Just for clarification, because I am well aware of the structure, but I think I did get a phone call about the language of the way this is worded and just some confusion about the financial implication to the town versus the WPCA and why the town's on the hook. And Jared, if you could just explain it for the record so people kind of understand the I'm not going to say the dumbed down version, but the simpler explanation.
Sure. So the way it breaks down is there's a grant that got transferred in for $750,000. That's one of the sources. There's use of the fund balance of the WPCA's fund balance in the amount of $3.5 million, and then the $2 million would be general obligation bond. However, the debt service on that bond would be paid by WPCA, which, not to jump ahead, but gets to the second item on there, which is authorizes an MOU between the town and WPCA for that funding and that payment by WPCA.
And the town specific, or I'm sorry, the WPCA specifically is able to kind of ride the coattails is probably not the right expression, but the great bond rating that the town has, and that therefore is why we go through, the WPCA goes through the town side? Is there?
Well, the town is the entity that's authorized to do the bonding.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
I'm sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
No, that's it. I just wanted Jared to be able to say that for the record because I did get a phone call about it. So just wanted the official clarity.
Yeah.
Nancy, do you have anything to share about this presentation?
No, it was
board meeting?
No, just that it was unanimous, I believe. I don't want to. Yeah, it was unanimous support from the WPCA.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. So on the financing of this, first of all, Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the explanation. Familiar with the project. 6.25 minus 7.5, 5.5 to the town and to the WPCA, 3.5 out of the fund, $2 million in debt. Question, funding of pay down of the debt, is that coming entirely from the town other than the interest, or is it coming from the WPCA including the interest?
The WPCA will pay the full debt service, the principal and interest.
They'll pay both. Okay. Second question, why are we doing it with partial debt, and why is the split of 3.5 million and 2 million the right split?
I know, so WPCA may be able to respond better, but I know that typically, they didn't want to draw too far down on their fund balance, and so I guess that's a reason that we're not going too much into their fund balance. But in addition to that, it was a good balance between the two, between their fund balance and bonding. We also didn't, even though WPCA is paying for the debt service, it is still a general obligation bond, and we didn't want that to get too high or to eat into a lot of our bond capacity.
Yeah, no, I understand the not wanting to eat into the bond capacity, and I applaud that. The other thing, I think we're in a period of, despite the fact that we have AAA credit rating, we're in a period of rising interest rates as well. So I think to keep bonding under control, it's going to be, quite frankly, increasingly important. So I'd like to get a more specific response for WPCA, Jared, specifically related to the fund balance, where we are, what's unassigned, what's unencumbered, and why is 3.5 versus 2 the right number from their perspective. Also, do we have any sense? I know this all goes out for bonding in a package, but do we have any sense as to what's going on with the rates, other than that they're in general going up?
So I'll hit your first question regarding the fund balance and the status of fund balance. After this, assuming that this gets approved, right, they would have about $6.6 million in fund balance remaining.
Okay. How much have we appropriated of their fund balance this year so far?
Yeah, this year,
it feels like we've used a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things going on. One was a couple of projects that hit this year, but also there was some unexpended fund balance from last year that was approved last year, didn't get spent, that we reappropriated to this year. And so that amount was, my understanding, that amount was about 2.2 million. And then we had another 2 items that were adopted for $300,000 each. So 600,000. And don't remember if there may have been one other one. I'd have to go back and look, but yeah, between all of those things adding up, there would be a $6.6 million, and after assuming that this gets approved, there would be $6.6 million remaining.
And Jared, from your estimation, how much do they add to that fund balance on an annual basis? Just receipts, not the actual. How much has it typically been going up?
It's gone up pretty significantly in the past, I would say 3 to 4 years. Yeah. It has gone, I would say on average, up by about, let's say 3 or 4 years, it's probably gone up by about 2 to 3 million a year on average.
So to Nancy and the chair of the committee, is that expected to continue over the next couple of years? And when you guys get together, as the committee, representing the committee, how did you guys decide the split of the 5.5 between the 3.5 and the 2? I'd like to, because you guys are the steward of the
I would want to.
This is Bill Hurley, engineering manager. John, if you can answer that, that's fine. If not, I can certainly mention the past projects and the future projects that are coming up, and as why, and Jared had alluded to it, and so did John. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you here, Bill, some of the context I'm asking for here from specifically from commission members is a number of years ago, as I recall, we kind of broke apart a bit, right, with the intent to grow that fund balance. The committee did this, right? They said, we want to grow this fund balance. So we took away, we're charging a bit more, right, than what their operating budget was to grow the fund balance because we know we have large capital items coming up, including the big one that's coming up in, I don't know how many years. So I'm just trying to figure out how the committee is viewing this as we move forward.
So I'll add to something that Bill Hurley mentioned earlier, which was, coming up with a master plan for WPCA. We're going to be meeting next week, Finance, WPCA, Engineering, DPW, to start that process. And the goal of that is going to be to, really to start planning, come up with a financial plan for how we're going to fund these things, and including a very aggressive strategy to seek grant funding. So within those conversations going forward, we'll be able to, I think we'll be able to have a more specific answer to how and how much those kinds of things to, how they're going to increase the fund balance or what they're going to do with rates and, what we can get from clean water funding, all those kinds of questions. But that's our goal. And it's for us to be able to go to state, federal government and say, here are the obstacles, here are the challenges that we have, and we're looking for ways to be able to finance these things. I don't know.
Okay. That tells me that basically in the future you're going to put together a plan, a longer-term plan. Okay, but there were decisions made in the past that were to put this money aside. Okay, that's literally what we were told when I was back on the Board of Finance, and now we're spending down that fund. And I'd like to know how the commission, as stewards of that fund, are looking at these projects. And you made a comment earlier, Jared, that, hey, the commission looked at it and said, we don't want to go below a certain level, right? I'd like to know what that level is, because we have been spending out of this fund for the past year. And please, in no way am I saying that these projects aren't required. I think the projects are good things. I just want to make sure we have a cohesive financial strategy for this and know where we're heading. So that's what I'm trying to get to. So when the commission looks at this, what do they look at?
And can I ask a question to your question, which is, sure, is your supporting these resolutions contingent on those answers, or can we have because I'm not comfortable as a commission member speaking. I think Joe DeVanzo as vice chair and Mark Ellison as chair have really great historical knowledge and may have had a robust conversation, but I don't know that the entirety of the board has had that conversation recently. So I certainly don't want to represent the commission in this regard. So if it's not contingent, perhaps we could the WPCA could come back to you with that.
Sure. And you had another commission member on the phone, right?
Yeah, I see.
Is he here?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you want to take a stab from your long knowledge?
I don't really do the finance side of it. Yeah. I'm more the, I'm not able to answer your question because I don't know the whole bonding process and everything else. I do know that we've been raising our rates.
Yes.
Like to the point where we're starting to hear people bitch about it.
Yes. Yeah, no, and that happened, you're absolutely right, and that happened a few years ago when actually, I think it was during a budget process when the Board of Finance, in the course of discussion, it came to our attention that the rates were actually going up more than the operating costs. And the reason that was, per the commission, was they were putting money aside for the big McGilla of a project that's coming a few years hence. We've been hearing about that project for a long time. And we were a little uncomfortable at the time that there didn't seem to be articulated a long enough term strategy for that. It was kind of, we know what we're trying to do. We're trying to do the fund balance. We know we've got these expenses in the future. And now it's a little bit, I'm hearing kind of the same thing that I heard back then a little bit, you know. And Mr. Hurley, maybe you have some background to add to this or some commentary. And no one's really given me, why is $3.5 million the right to take out of the fund, and why is $2 million the amount those are very specific numbers. It's not 50%. It's $2 million and 3.5. Why? So, Mr. Hurley, do you have anything to add?
I'll do my best to answer those questions. As alluded to before, and I'm just going to say the number was $10 million in the fund balance. I'm going to say about 5 years ago, and don't quote me on the exact number, it might have been, say, $4 million. They were accumulating it, knowing that we had the WPCF hardening project, the Eastern Turnpike pump station, and the Eastern Turnpike force main. So those were three projects that have, dwindled down a little bit of that fund balance as it was coming in. So it was still, we were having more come in than spent. The projects that are, I know, forthcoming are, and I was trying to look it up here. I know we have 3 pump stations that have to be completely upgraded, and then there's associated force main sections with those pump stations. So those I know are coming. The East Trunk sewer line, that one has been on the waterfall chart for about 4 years. And that one is just has to tweak a final design, and that's the one where we applied for a $5 million grant, the Community Challenges grant, and I think in December they will announce the award, and hopefully we have gotten that one, because that would certainly help our budget balance, so to speak.
Bill, you just listed about 4 or 5 additional projects that are in the pipeline. Mm-hmm. And again, old infrastructure, the projects are needed, right? How much are those projects, and how is the fund balance going to be utilized for those projects?
Again, my thing would be is that they were taking not an exact percentage, but it was to spread out, for each project. I'm just going to arbitrarily say if we had 4 projects, that'd be $1 million or $1.5 million for each project coming out of the fund balance, and a lot of it is going to depend on the grant, and then there will also be, and this is where the upcoming meeting is going to come in. There'll be like a little bit of a triage. Obviously, if there's a project that can maybe get pushed 1 more year back, they will do that. Just trying to spread out the impact so it's not all at one time. Unfortunately, I'm just going to say in the last 50, outside of the last couple of years here, but we'll say from like 2000 to 2017, there wasn't much outside of I&I that was done in terms of the line. The sewers were doing fine. And the projects in the infrastructure were fine, but now as they've gotten older, and unfortunately they were all constructed around the same time, 1947 to 1955, and so it wasn't like it wasn't like we had different sections of neighborhoods in the 50s, 60s, 70s where it would be all spread out. So it's hitting.
Yeah, no,
I know what you're saying too. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm not, my question isn't need, my question isn't whether it needs to be done, my question isn't over benefit to the town. It's literally over, the committee is charged with financing these things. We're going to be spending a lot of money, and we have this huge project coming up. We need a better plan.
May I, Brenda?
Sure.
Cut in. I guess I would say, just both wearing my WPCA hat and then my select person hat, if it's not contingent, if finding out this information today is not contingent on your support, could we, as a commission, come back to you so that the chair and the vice chair can bring it up with the commission? The other member that's on the phone today doesn't have the information. I don't have the information, at least that's going to be satisfying to you in any way. So if we could have a presentation in the next short bit, then we'd come, I think the commission would be more than happy to come back to you.
If we were to, thank you, Nancy, I appreciate that. If we were to delay this vote for 2 weeks, number one, is that enough time to get the information? And number two, Bill, what does that do to the project? Because again, I'm not questioning the project.
It's been our goal to get this project out as soon as possible. As I was saying, it could take up to 16 months. This may be a contingent also on, that proposal by Accurate, and so much like the one where they were kind of forced into a corner with the Sacred Heart, you don't want to extend the timeline so much where now you open yourself up to holding up a development, and so and that, again, that's just my opinion.
Okay. So you have upcoming meetings. When is? And I know, Bill, I'm not trying to pin you down here, but is the next project you're coming through for approval sooner rather than later, or is this one and then it's going to be a year and a half before we hear from you?
No, I believe the East Trunk sewer, which is kind of on the map that was as part of the backup, that's like a part two. That's the one that's been on the waterfall chart for 4 years, and unfortunately, delaying these projects has unfortunately made the expenses go up, for various reasons. And so, but that one we would go before you, especially if we got news that we were awarded that grant, then assuming that the state wanted a shovel-ready or quick build, they now call it, as soon as possible, then I would imagine sometime over the winter to springtime, we would come back. So I would say within the next 2 to 6 months for the East Trunk sewer line.
Okay, here's what I'll say. I will approve this, but I think you're going to get the same thing from the Board of Finance. Certainly if I was on the Board of Finance, you would get it. I will approve this one, okay? But I'm not approving future ones without that plan put together. I want to know what this looks like. We almost need a waterfall relative to this fund over the next few years. We need a financial plan relative to this fund.
Mm-hmm. I think we'd all agree. I think we'd all agree on that. And as I said, even working with Jared and the sewer commission, we were all trying to do that. We're always looking at the new technologies as well, trying to cut costs and if there's any other alternatives as well. So I think that's a fair question, and that's something like you mentioned before. The other boards are probably going to have some questions as well. So. I have no issue with that.
And where we're going with this fund balance, because we're burdening the taxpayers with higher rates. We're charging them higher rates in order to afford these capital projects. B, we're using a bonding capacity, as Jared correctly pointed out. C, we're in an environment of higher interest rates, so this is going to start costing more money. And D, we've been spending a lot of money on these projects. And again, I'm not questioning the projects. Mm-hmm. So I think what we need before we come back for another approval is I want to see what this looks like moving forward from a financing perspective.
Right, and we'll
recommend something.
Yeah. Sure.
Is that okay?
Sure, absolutely.
When I was the head of IT for Coca-Cola, a lot of the bitching I heard was that the salesman on the street said, you don't have enough cans on the shelf in manufacturing. And the manufacturing guy says, Well, you didn't plan for it. You didn't tell us when you were doing promos. So, when you do the 2-for-1, you're going to run out of product pretty quick. Okay? So
SOP. Yeah.
So I think part of it is that we need to have some sort of internal plan as far as what the flow should be. I mean, if we had, we've got all these developments coming up. I mean, we got somebody down in where the old Masonic Temple is. They're going to build up. Over there by Hi-Ho, they're building that up.
Right.
The one that's downtown, they're building that up. So we got these big developments, and the big developments, because of the low income thing, a lot of times it doesn't get checked. And when it gets to us, it ends up to say, well, we only got a 33-inch pipe in the ground, and you know what? You'll have the manhole cover blowing up when, if you have more than 2 inches of rain.
I couldn't agree with you more. There has to be that plan. There has to be that thoughtfulness. There has to be that flexibility. Some of the things I'm seeing now.
Bottom line, no surprises.
Right. And so I think we're on the same page, but we need that financial plan. And I really want to know that the commission is, and I'm not saying they're not, please don't take it that way, but I want to know that the commission is actually having those discussions relative to that financial plan and what your target is for that, the bare minimum of that. We're not going to go below this level for that fund.
But can I actually ask a point of clarification? Sorry, can I ask a point of clarification? Just because when speaking to the vice chair who had asked, Joe DeVanzo had asked Jared if the 13 million is considered by the bonding authority, if it impacts the town rate, and he was told no, because I think the vice chair was just making sure that the spend down of the WPCA wouldn't negatively impact the town's rating, which I think sounds slightly contrary to what you just said, Tom.
It's not. It's not about the rating, Nance. What it's about is capacity. So it doesn't impact your rating. But what it does do is it says if you can only bond up to a certain level. And if you bond so much on the WPCA side, it takes away, let's say, what you can bond on the school side, right? And what you can bond for some of the other infrastructure projects. So there's only a certain amount, because this whole thing of the WPCA is it's backed by, and I'll look at our attorney there, Mr. Sastrom, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the town. And the town gets to bond up to one number in totality. So that's what we're talking about, not the actual
the dollar amount. Okay.
Yeah.
And we did plan for this. We're planning to have, as part of that framework for our capital plan, we planned that there would be some funding for the WPCA within there. So we're, it's part of that. We know what we have to live within, and that our plan is to stay within that amount.
But Jared, and I agree with you, okay, but in a 1-year period, through that long-term capital plan discussion that we had last year, that delta between we need this and that was like $80 to $100 million, right? So we know as much planning as we do, which we should be doing, that number is very fluid. So you're absolutely right, and I know exactly what you're saying, but that number can move too. So we just got to be cognizant of this.
Yeah, I think what you need to talk to is to Joe, because Joe's our CFO of the WPCA.
Yeah. And I know Mr. DeVanzo very well.
Joe's been in on the conversations.
Yeah. But we need here's the plan. We need a document that says, here's the plan. This is the way we're going to administer it. This is what we're asking the town to do. Your committee has to say, yes, we're good with that plan. Nancy, as our representative on your committee, needs to be very aware of that. And then we need to move it forward. So I'll approve this today, but I honestly, guys, we're getting to the point where it's not about, and Mr. Hurley, my apologies, I wasn't trying to cut you off, but it's not about whether it's a good plan or not from a engineering perspective and a need perspective. It's from a financing perspective.
Well,
that's all.
And I think Mr. Hurley and I can both impress on the WPCA chair and vice chair. that this is something that you're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have a plan, and a lot of it might be dependent on how much grants, we can apply for and get as well. That will make a big difference. So, thank you, Tom.
That's only going to be to the good.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, no, thank you, Mr. Hurley.
No, you bring up a good point, Tom, and we are doing that with the capital planning workshop. But I think obviously, per our charter, we have a board of selectmen member who's on it, and it might even be helpful if we got like a quarterly update. Just here's the meetings we've had. Here's some of the things coming down the pike or discussions we've had. Even just a small, I could reserve it on the agenda, for Nancy to just give us a little update, quarterly even. Just so we kind of keep updated, because it seems like, we deal with them on the capital side, looking at the projects in the waterfall and dealing with everything. But it's nice to kind of hear, I think even for the public to hear. I'm listening to this stuff during the day, but I think, the purpose of that, having a board of selectmen member on it probably is to do that. To just keep updates, maybe quarterly.
Yeah, and there's so much there's so much work being done, so I think it's a good idea and a good point, so.
Awesome. All right, is there any further questions from the board?
On this item.
And I know that, I'm sorry, I didn't read both of the items. I had just read the first, but I would like to,
can I wait?
Well, let's just take this one on, even though we discussed both of them.
Questions for Mr. Sastrom on the next one, so that's, sorry.
Right. All right, so this item, I'm going to open it up. Is there any comments from the public on the, item number 7 that we just discussed? Even though we discussed item number 8 a lot as well. Hearing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye. And I'll waive I'll make a motion to waive the reading of number 8.
Okay.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I just want to give a brief overview just for the public, though. This is part of the water pollution control, and it's for funding for the East Trunk line. It's just split up a little bit, and I just want to also add that that the 1 and 2 sections I think are important at the end. That the debt service of the bonds, as such, debt service shall be paid by the WPCA from its own funds, and the obligation of the WPCA. And the memorandum, and that the first selectwoman is hereby authorized to execute the MOU on behalf of the town. I'll open it up. Tom, you have questions for the bond council?
I do. And well, the first question I have is to the committee itself. Nance, have you guys voted on accepting the MOU with the town? Does the committee understand the obligation that they're undertaking here? I think
Yes,
you have.
we have, but I would have to confirm that it was unanimous. We had a special meeting, yep, and it was unanimous.
They did agree to the.
Had it last week.
The $2 million bonding, yeah. Everything that was in here was approved.
And it was unanimous. It was at a special meeting last week.
Yeah, last week.
Days are all blur. It was Wednesday, last Wednesday.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Sastrom, nice to see you again, sir. It's been a while.
You all too.
Every time I see you, it costs money.
What can I tell you?
Yeah. A quick question. Is this in our standard form for our bonds?
We have done this before, where you're getting reimbursement from another source to pay your general fund, to pay your general obligation bonds. I believe we entered into a similar memorandum when you folks approved the design work for this.
Yeah.
We entered into a similar memorandum when you did the radio facility as a joint facility with Westport. What the MOU was going to provide is that the other entity, in this case the WPCA, is going to reimburse the town for the full debt service. I know that question came up earlier. And presumably, as you pointed out earlier, Mr. Flynn, that will be paid either out of the reserves of the WPCA as the debt service becomes due, or through sewer user fees.
Yeah. And how about the bond itself that the town is signing? Is that pretty much our standard bond language?
It'll be a standard GO obligation. It's sort of transparent to the bond investors, whether it's the town on the hook or the WPCA. The memorandum of understanding is really between the town and the WPCA. That's transparent, invisible to the investors.
And the bond itself, 25 years?
I think it's a 20-year bond, Jared, if I'm correct.
20-year. Okay. Do we have any sense, Mr. Sastron, this is probably not for you, but Jared, do we have any sense, are we getting any information from our financial advisors relative to what the impact on interest rates might be to the town?
They're going up.
They are going up, and we're not going to, at least the plan is to stick with what we've done in the past and probably go out to bond sometime around end of June next year. So,
is that just because that's past practice, or is that kind of the counsel we're getting from our financial advisors?
I would say in the past, it's been past practice. We'll be more attentive to it this year and what's happening to rates. And if we see that, maybe there's a better time to go out, then we'll definitely consider that.
I would most certainly encourage you to have that conversation with our outside advisors. For the life of me, his name is escaping me right now.
It's Matt Spurndle.
Yeah, Spurndle.
Phoenix Advisors.
Yeah. So I would say in this environment, my opinion is we should stay pretty close to that and be flexible. Is what I would say.
If I could just add, the discussions our other clients are having, and we've, in this, number one, everyone needs to understand the rates we've had for the last 4 or 5 years are historically low, and I wouldn't get used to them for all time. The town still gets incredible rates. Most people think that the next, at least with the advisors I hear, think that the next rate increase from the Fed will probably be the last for a while. So I think we're looking at rates that are probably going to stabilize a little bit higher than this and be stable through next year. At least that's what the prognosticators are saying as of now.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. I don't need to take any more of your time, and I appreciate you putting up with all my questions.
Thank you, Tom. Nancy, do you have any questions?
Nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Is there any questions from the public on this item? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we have one item left. Item number 9. Can I get a motion to consider an act on the tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $76,854.42?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Is there any questions on this item?
There is none.
Nope.
Not for me.
Any questions from the public? Back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Take care, everybody.
I hope you don't have COVID.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good night.